Since childhood, Sarah tried not to stand out because she always doubted her own strength. It seemed to her that she was not enough, not beautiful enough, not smart enough, and so on. Sarah grew up and her life turned into a boring routine that she considered as peaceful. She got a job that she didn't like but got used to it, with a small but stable pay. The girl didn't even think about having more. But one day, things got worse. Her mother got sick. She needed a long and expensive treatment. Spendings grew day by day. Her salary did not cover even a small part of them. It was necessary to take measures, and that scared Sarah most of all. One evening, she was sitting in a hospital corridor and crying quietly from helplessness. One of the doctors noticed it, and he stopped by. He asked, "Are you all right?" Sarah answered through tears, "I'm fine." The doctor sat down next to her and continued, "It seems like you need some help. What made you so upset?" Sarah replied, "My mother is sick, and I can't even afford her medicine on my salary." The doctor was surprised. "Well, why don't you change your job?" Sarah explained with tears, "Don't you understand? If somehow, miraculously, I get a new job, I will have to quit the one I have now. What if I fail at my new job? What happens then? They won't give me my old job back, right? And then I won't have money at all. I'm sure they'll think I'm stupid and not suitable for the job." Sarah cried for more. The doctor replied, "Why don't you believe in yourself?" The girl raised her head and started looking for excuses. "You just don't understand." But the man wouldn't listen. He said, "You know, when I was younger, I had no money and couldn't even buy food. I was that desperate. Yet I was so ashamed and scared to ask my people for help. I suffered until I got to the hospital completely exhausted. A few years later, I told this story to my family and honestly admitted that I was so ashamed to ask for money. I thought they would hate me. Do you know what they told me? 'Your ridiculous fears almost got you killed.' That's what they told me. Never decide what other people think of you until they say it themselves." The doctor kept quiet, and then he added, "Your fears are ruining not only your life, but also your mother's life. Make up your mind." 1 week has passed. The doctor was working in his office as usual when he received an envelope. The man opened it, took out a note, and smiled. The note said, "Thank you. I got a new job. I will never doubt myself again." As long as we are driven by our own insecurities and fears, we will not win a single battle in our lives. Win the battle with yourself, and then all other heights will become achievable. Laura and Vicky were neighbors. Both women had been retired for several years. Vicky spent most of her time gardening, which she really enjoyed. But Laura couldn't choose an activity she liked for a long time. She was on the fence for a while, but then she followed the example of her neighbor and tried gardening too. Moreover, there was a good advisor close by. Sometime later, Vicky decided to ask her neighbor about her new hobby. She walked into Laura's garden and froze with delight. Flower beds were full of beautiful flowers of different colors and varieties. Their fragrance was everywhere. Vicky got out to meet her, but her look was the opposite of her garden. She was sad and irritated. Vicky clearly did not expect to see her like that. She asked, "Sorry, I just wanted to ask you how you were doing with your new hobby. Is everything going well?" Laura frowned. "It's okay. Come in. Things aren't going well, though. You might have noticed." Vicky looked at the flower beds again. Dozens of beautiful flowers still bloomed there. She looked at her neighbor and asked, "What do you mean? Did something happen?" Laura replied sharply, "Yes, I wanted to breed a new type of flower, but it didn't work. I failed." Vicky asked, "So what?" Laura started whining. "What? You say, so what? Look, I destroyed the flower. I guess I shouldn't do anything at all. Look at my gardening. I shouldn't have started this." Vicky looked at her. "Did you only plant one flower?" Laura said, "No, of course not. But this one didn't grow. My hands are useless." Vicky took the neighbor aside so that the whole garden could be seen. "Now tell me, where is that flower? I want to look at it. Maybe I can give you some advice." Laura was looking at the flower beds for a long time, but she couldn't find that flower. It wasn't easy to find that unfortunate seedling among many fragrant flowers. A few minutes later, she sighed and said, "I don't know. Look for it yourself. I'm sure you'll find it somewhere." Vicky smiled. "You see, among dozens of beautiful flowers, you can't even see it." Laura thought about it for a moment. Indeed, she was so upset by one failure that she stopped noticing how beautiful the whole garden was, thanks to her efforts. She laughed. "Yes, I think I just got obsessed with it. Come on, I better show you how lush roses have grown." One wrong step doesn't determine the whole journey. By focusing on failure, we deprive ourselves of all the joys of success. "May I see my baby?" asked the happy mother. She took the baby and moved the diaper to see his face. The doctor quickly turned to the window so she couldn't see the mother's reaction. The baby was born without ears. Years went by, and everything showed that the baby could hear perfectly. Only the appearance was different. One day, he came back from school, upset, and rushed into his mother's arms. She sighed, knowing how hard it was for him. The kid said, "The boy, the big boy, he called me ugly." As he grew up, the boy became more and more handsome, despite his unique appearance. He was a leader among other students and could even become a class president if not for his looks. Over the years, he has developed talents for music and literature. "Honey, you know you can never be like other children," his mother told him, but her heart was breaking. The boy's father went to the family doctor to help his son somehow. He asked, "Is there really nothing you can do?" The doctor said, "I believe I could give your son a couple of ears, if only we could get them somewhere." Parents started looking for someone who could be a donor for their son. The search took 2 years, and then one day they told their son, "They're waiting for you at the hospital. We found someone who agreed to give you ears, but it's a big secret." The surgery went great, and the boy woke up as a different person. Now he could realize his talents perfectly. He made excellent progress in his studies and went to college. Time passed, the boy grew up, got married, and became a diplomatic official. But all these years, he kept telling his father, "I have to know everything. Tell me, who gave me so much? I could pay him back," said the son. "I understand you," said father. but I promised to keep it a secret. As the years passed, Dad kept the secret. But one day he was ready to tell his son everything. It was one of the darkest days of their lives. They stood together over their mother's and wife's grave. Slowly and gently, his father reached out and lifted his mother's thick brown hair. She didn't have ears. Mom was happy she never got a haircut, he whispered softly. And nobody ever thought Mom was not pretty, right? True beauty is not in appearance, but in heart. The real miracle lives in something you can't see with your eyes. And true love is not in something to show, but in what you can do but hide from others' eyes.